Hey guys, here we are, the Quiggin Out MMA Podcast, and I've got an eclectic group of people with me today. Something you've never seen on an MMA podcast. I can almost guarantee it, unless Kenny Florian has beat me to it. I have Team MALICE from Battlebots. Wow, I can't even talk today. I'm so excited. We've got Bunny, we've got David, we've got Rush. How is everybody doing tonight?
Oh, fabulous. How are you doing?
Good. I know it's David and David, but for the sake of this conversation, you're Rush, you're David, so that way we know who we're talking to.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
And now we're losing Rush.
He's Dave right now. No, I'm just joking. He didn't get demoted. Oh, where did he go? Now you're demoted to Dave. Now you're demoted.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's working. Now it's finally working. Right.
Yay.
Right back.
Listen, Buddy and I were talking about this before. I was like, it's not a show without some sort of technical malfunction, without some sort of audio issue going on. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. This is episode 50. This is huge for me to have what I consider, and I've talked about this, the robot MMA. That's what BattleBots is. So tell me about Team MALICE, and then we're going to go down memory lane and history, because I know some of you on here have been doing this for 20 plus years. So let's talk about Team MALICE and, what it is to be in BattleBots.
Okay, Team MALICE is made up of the Davids and me and Isaac and Nick. They're great people, and they're all wonderful mechanical designers, and we let the robots do the fighting for us. MALICE is based on David Rush's smaller robot Animus and Odium, and we just scaled it up to be 250 pounds and go into the ring. We got to get to that good weight class. We had to, eat that protein and get that lift.
Do those deadlifts, right?
Yeah, do the deadlifts. Get that booty up.
Oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna keep a straight face for most of this, so this is gonna be exciting. Look at Rush; he's like, I don't even know, like, what did I sign up for?
It's a daily struggle.
I used to be able to deadlift a MALICE. I was up to 250 at BattleBots. While we were doing BattleBots, I could deadlift one MALICE.
I mean, that should be a new form of measurement.
That's it.
How much does that weigh?
Can you even BattleBot? No. You shouldn't be able to be on BattleBots if you can't deadlift your robot.
I'm out. I think all of us were just like, yeah, okay. So it's exciting just because, when I was a kid, BattleBots was huge, and I had this grand design of I was going to make my own BattleBot. So what I'm going to do is tell you about what my design was, and you're going to tell me why it wouldn't work. Because I'm pretty sure there was a bot that's pretty close to it. But I had this grand design of making a scorpion bot where the tail was some sort of hammer or spike, and then the claws themselves had vertical spinners in it. I know there's restrictions as far as how many weapons you could have, but I want you all to tell me why that would not work and where the flaws lie in something like that.
There's no restrictions on how many weapons you can have. There's just restrictions on the weight. So having that many weapons would just cause so much weight. And you would have to basically be a glass cannon. And since the weight in those weapons would be distributed so much, you wouldn't have a lot of oomph behind them. You wouldn't have the power to get all three of them functioning the way that you want.
Yeah, I agree. That's pretty much it. The problem is the arms would just get ripped right off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They would get ripped right off.
Everybody likes to go for the appendages. That seems to be the goal when it comes down to it.
Yeah, with so many things going on, with two vertical spinners and claws and a hammer as well. There's so much going on. I feel like at least something's gonna go wrong with one of those. Because even with regular robots, something goes wrong, and we have less weapons than that. So I don't know.
Well, and I never thought I'd be able to ask that question to anybody, so I was like, I might as well throw it out there. This is
a great question. I loved it. I like the design. I like scorpions. I mean, obviously, Scorpios is Mouse's BFF, so we love scorpions over here.
So, and again, that was my 20 years ago, so I didn't have the same thought process I would today. But I was like, let's bring it up. Why not? So
that's how I got the bunny. Was 20 years ago.
So let's start there. So how did Bunny come to be? And
When I was a kid, I used to watch the show on Comedy Central. David was on it when it was on Comedy Central, and when it got canceled, my mom looked at me and she's like, "Hey, let's build a robot." So we found one 48 hours later in Vegas. So we found this competition for smaller robots, the little 1-pounders, and it went all the way up to 340 pounds at that time. So we had a lot of the BattleBots competitors come to this Vegas event that we went to because it used to be filmed in Vegas. Now it is again returned to Vegas, but so all the people were already there for BattleBots, and we just did this show for fun. And so 48 hours after BattleBots was canceled, we built a robot and drove up there. And he was on Comedy Central. He was on the original show.
Yeah, the very last season. But it was single elimination. It was like 500 robots. So I never made it to TV.
It wasn't like it is now. You used to be able to just pay the money, and it was an actual robot competition back then, not invite only. So you used to just be able to show up, pay your entry fee, and try to fight to get to be on TV. But nowadays you have to be invited. Nowadays you have to go through the process.
Interesting. And I think you saying there was 500 robots. 500.
Oh yeah, it was only like $500 or $600 entry fee, and everyone, if you had the money and you didn't pay, you had to pay for your own travel and stuff. But
it was also spread out amongst many weight classes. So there used to be super heavies, which was 340 pounds. There used to be lightweights, which was 60 pounds. Middleweights, which was 120 pounds. And so all 4 weight classes, which is now reduced to 1 weight class. So it's just a different game now.
And how have you guys adapted to that? I mean, obviously, David, like you were there, I don't want to say a long time ago. I hate saying things like that, but you were there from like the OG portion of this. Like how has the mindset changed, and is it better now as far as, the matches where it goes?
There's a lot more catting you got to do. I mean, before you could just build it in your garage and just YOLO it, and it'd probably work. But now there's a lot of catting you got to do. You need someone who's really good at catting to be on your team to do this.
That's why we have Isaac.
Yeah.
I do this much of the CAD, and then he does, and then Rush does all the weapon CAD, and Isaac does all the rest of the CAD.
Yeah, he does an amazing job.
Isaac's the best. I think we make up for it by going to a lot of small events. We go to more small events than any other team, probably the next 2 combined, to be honest. We do 20 competitions a year, So for us, BattleBots is just another weekend. Well, in our case, 16 days, because it's 16 days of filming. But for us, it's just another competition. For a lot of people, it's the only competition they go to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that kind of takes some of the surprise factor out of it, because I've always wondered, like, sometimes you're looking and you're like, they're wearing the same tie. How is this like? How much time do you guys really have? So, what's it like going into those fights, taking damage, and then going to the back? Like, is it a scramble at that point? Because really, you don't have the week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks that we think you have before your next fight.
It's very physically exhausting, which I imagine is the same for MMA. Like fight after fight after fight. It's not just about being ready for one fight. It's about being ready for this marathon. This you have to, it's a very large physical toll that people don't realize, because every morning you wake up at 6 a.m. and every night you go to bed at 2 or 3 in the morning because, you're up working on the robot. So you're getting 4 hours of sleep for 16 days, and you only get 1 or 2 days off the entire time. And most of the time you're not even actually off those days. You're working on the robot, fixing it. So there's this huge physical toll that people don't realize when you're doing BattleBots, because you're not actually in the arena, but your heart and soul is, and all your sweat and tears are. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you guys are doing so much when it comes down to it that you're really having to be like you said, you're like, let's go. And even those days off, you're going, what can we do? We're losing time. Let's go. So.
Absolutely.
Usually the fights are every day.
Yes.
Or every other day.
Yes.
So you usually only get 1 fight per day. So near the end, there's the possibility you might have to fight twice in one day. At that point, you need two
fully functional
functional robots. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to fix it.
So you guys have to come prepared with it like a backup robot.
Yeah.
We usually come prepared with two full backup robots, and just so that way we can be working on one and have one ready all times, because sometimes you get called. So it's a big game of hurry up and wait. So like they want you there, and then you sit in line for 6 hours, and it's so you don't want to have to be so stressed about it all the time. You can put the one that's ready in line, and then you go back and you work on the other one.
That's crazy. All right, what questions can we make Rush answer, and only Rush?
Yeah.
He could do the origin story of how he created a tool and how it all worked out.
Origin story. All right.
He looked like he was falling asleep down there, so I had to wake him up.
Oh, I'm kind of a quiet person. All right, so origin story. Okay, so yeah. All right, so we actually started with started with my little 1 pound and 3 pound robots, Odium and Animus. They basically look like a small version of Malice. And so let's see, when I was building my first robot, I thought, hey, what kind of weapon hasn't really been done much at all before? And so I was thinking of a horizontal drum. And so I was revision after revision. I was thinking, okay, how can I get this to be more practical and whatnot? And so it ended up being like a really thick, just like a thick horizontal disc, not a very big diameter, and just spins really fast. And so I started entering that into competitions. And after a while, I met David Lau, and we were always seeing each other at the same events. And eventually we became good friends. Yeah. David's just like me. David is addicted to the whole competition of it all. So so one day he came up to me and he wanted to team up and build a heavyweight version of my little robot. So we just started on it, and along the way we picked up Bunny, and we just hit the ground running after that.
And that's so cool because, like you said, this came from an idea to a 1 pound robot to a 3 pound robot to the heavy. I don't want to say super heavyweight. I think she's a heavyweight. And are we calling Malice a she? Is it are we just calling it Malice?
The robot. I don't think it really has a gender. It's just a robot. It can be whatever we want. It can be a she or a he whenever it decides to.
Well, and that's so exciting because, like you said, getting to meet David, and you guys always being at the same shows, being in those same circles, for you guys to connect, it really changed the landscape of, both of your, trajectories when it comes to, what you guys are doing and where you are now. And then picking up Bunny, from other teams,
Shatter, Rex, whichever one you want.
Shatter, I knew. So I watched the Shatter one right before.
I was also on Rex. We took out Bite Force once. And by took out, I mean we flipped him. We flipped him once. We were the only robot to ever flip him. Rex was.
Listen, that's it's kind of like fighting, and the reason I equated the two is because MMA and BattleBots are essentially the same thing. And here's why. I can explain all this. You have to go in with a strategy. You can't just go balls to the wall and go, it's kind of like going, weapon to weapon with Tombstone. Like, you don't do it. Like, it's just.
Yeah, Rush, you don't do that.
I just threw a name out there that was not a direct.
Yeah.
You always have a discussion about strategy, but then it goes to hell pretty quickly.
Well,
it's always good until you get punched in the face the first time. You always have a strategy until you get punched in the face.
Yeah. And then you're just like, let's just keep the weapon in front and hope
just keep those arms up. Just keep those arms up.
Exactly. And you have to have a strategy. Whether or not you stick to the game plan is really up to you. But I mean, you have to have good movement. You have to have endurance. You have to make sure the bot's going to be able to take hits, because I don't think any of you ever go in there going, we're not going to get hit at all. Like, we don't have to worry about, And so the more I was thinking about it, I was like, it is the same thing except for, a human and a robot. But realistically, you guys have to deal with a lot of the same things. And like you were saying, the olden days of, the UFC and Pride FC, guys were fighting 3 times a night. they didn't have that chance to, let's take a couple weeks off or a couple months off and take a breather. So the same thing with you guys in that 16 days, you have to be ready for anything. So I felt like there was a nice connection there.
I agree.
Yeah. We have no idea who we're going to fight. They make the decision. So, like they say they're going to give us an announcement at 10 p.m. Then it works out to be 2 a.m. and you might be fighting that day. You're just like, oh, thanks.
That's the worst. Yeah, they make you stay up till 2 a.m. and tell you who you're fighting. So that's always fun.
What was the one announcement that you guys were like, shit?
Jackpot.
Yeah, Jackpot.
We know how Jeff works. We know how powerful Jackpot was. And you know what the worst part is? They told us that was our easy fight. I was like, excuse me, Jackpot is our easy fight? Because they gave me the option. Aaron Caitling walked up to me. He's like, he didn't tell me who it was, but he's like, you can either fight tomorrow and have an easy fight, or you can fight Friday and have a hard fight. And he's like, I was thinking Witch Doctor for your hard fight or Jackpot for your easy fight. And I was like, neither? Like, that's not an easy fight. Oh my gosh, it was horrible.
Yeah, both turned out to be boss fights, basically boss level fights. So yeah, there's no easy fight there.
It's always better to fight earlier though than later.
That's why we chose the next day fight, which was Jackpot, which was our easy fight.
I mean, it's funny to hear that was the easy fight, because I watched that fight right before again.
So it was edited. So in reality, we actually did a lot more damage than they show in the TV. In reality, we took them out. Like, they were crab walking just as much as we were at the end. We took out their weapon and we took out their drive as well. They won. Like I'm not saying they didn't win. Like I love them and they're the best, and they absolutely won, because Jeff is just such an amazing driver, and they just put so much heart and soul into that robot, like 100%. But we did almost take him out with us. So they edited it out of the show, which is a little bit of a bummer, but that's okay. Like, that's just how it goes sometimes. But we love them and they're like the best team. So it's yes, but we took them out too. We went down swinging.
Yeah, we lost drive first.
We did lose drive first. Yeah.
They lost drives after, like immediately after, but we were first to lose drive. So technically we should have been counted out first.
They did the right thing. It's just funny that they edited it that way. Like it's strange that they chose to edit it that way, but it is what it is.
There's been some fights that I've watched that I'm like, they read the decision and I'm like, what fight did they watch? Like what just happened? So that explains like the editing, because you've got those 3 minutes and you're going, that wasn't 3 minutes. The camera angle changes, this happens, and you're going, Did I miss something? It's kind of like watching the recap of like a sports game or a fight, and they only show the highlights of the person who did, who they think
live
won.
Shows are always better. Go to the live shows.
Listen, I've never been to one, so that's going to change, because even a small, like, I don't care about small one, because that's where I started watching fights, in Newport Richey, Florida, which nobody knows where that is. So that's always good. And then you see some of these people, fighting the UFC, fighting the big stages. So just like you guys, when you said, we do the smaller competitions and we work our way up. And I love I hate to say the drive, but it's what it is.
We also help other builders from small events come up into the big one. We helped Brandon Young, who was on Big Dill last year, and this year he was on Mammoth. We actually recruited him from a local competition when I was in Maryland. He was there fighting and he beat me. And I was like, oh, excuse me, we're putting you on the Battlebot team now. I was like, E-Man, get this man a spot. And we brought him up with us. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So what's it like at the smaller ones now that you've been on the larger stage? Does it change anything as far as
Rush, why don't you take that question? Because you're newer.
Let's see. Yeah. Both are very similar, but also at the same time just very different atmospheres. So yeah, all the small events are, of course, very relaxed, or a lot more relaxed, I should say. But yeah, it's kind of hard. I don't really think anything's changed, because I did start off with the small ones, and I've been to small events, after it was on BattleBots. Nothing really seemed to change. You're kind of just adapt to each one. Yeah, that's true.
You ask for
more merch. Yeah, we give out a lot of swag more often now at the small ones.
I mean, that's pretty cool. And I know you showed me that piece earlier, and the sticker was right on the bottom, and I was like, forever immortalized is what that is.
Yep, we sponsored Mad Catter, and we have stickers on all the robots. We sponsored 5 robots this year. We sponsored
4, but
Jackpot. We sponsored Deep Six. We sponsored Big Dill. And technically we sponsored Mad Catter, and technically we sponsored Rotator. But it was just like we gave him like batteries or something at the event. You know what I'm saying?
Victor couldn't compete with that.
Right. He needed the batteries. Like he wasn't going to continue on if he didn't have the batteries. But like, I mean, just small, like not like, you know, Big Deal where, you know, like you give him a real sponsorship, you know?
Well, and that's kind of funny because a guy like Rotator, you mentioned him, you said a name, not me. If you were like, nah, I'm not giving you batteries, like that doesn't seem like it's the camaraderie that's in the pit.
Like, oh my gosh, we do not want people like that in the sport. We don't want people that don't want to beat people when they're at their best. We don't want people. Yeah. We don't want that. That's not the life we want. That's not the sport we want.
Yeah, I kind of feel. I was gonna say I kind of feel that way about fights because I'm like, if I was a fighter and I went into a fight with somebody who I knew had a bad left knee. Like on one hand, you're like, do I go for that? Or on the other hand, you're like, is that cheap? Like, is that it? So I love the camaraderie that you guys, you know, sponsoring other bots that you're competing against. And you said Jackpot, and all 3 of you went,
yeah, that was Jackpot. That was such a big. Oh God, they're so wonderful, and it was such a great fight. And you don't see this, but at the end of the fight, we all dogpiled on each other. Like we were standing there, and like I wish they had shown it because I mean that was how I fell over. Like there was just this pile of people. Like it was crazy. It was so fun, and you know that's like what I wish they would showcase more. I think like that kind of thing because it was a dog pile.
And I'm surprised like nobody like filmed this. I mean, there's hundreds of people in the audience. Like nobody was like, "Hey, check this out."
Yeah. I'm sure they did, but they are under very strict NDAs. Like they're not allowed to share anything from filming. So I'm sure they probably did. Well, especially like if they whip their phones out, they get in trouble. So like during filming, you're not allowed to bring your phone out during filming. You can bring it out during the breaks between fights, but because that was technically still part of the fight, they probably weren't allowed to.
Really?
But I do have a photo of it. I posted it on the Malice Instagram and Facebook. So there's a photo up there. But
there is proof. That was the other thing I was going to ask. How hard is it to keep things under wraps? Because again, you guys have already filmed everything. You already know what's going to happen. How hard is it?
Probably the hardest part is because like you don't think of anything of talking about it, and then all of a sudden something slips out, and you're like, ooh, yeah, you don't know that.
You didn't hear that from me.
It takes a lot of practice to have to bite your tongue at certain things, especially when you're on Reddit or Facebook. You see people talking about it, you're like,
down to you, and they're like, oh, well, you just got beat, and you're like, did I though? Did I like you know like.
So like I really want to tell you what happened.
Brackets. That's like the best part. Like when they're like, "Oh, look at how perfect my bracket is," and you're like, "Ah, is it though?"
You just anonymously put up a bracket that's 100% correct. I don't know.
No, you could never do like live betting with this one because it's always filmed prior. You'd have to do it like at the event. Only live show people.
So when was this one filmed? You said so everything's already done. So you guys can
August. It was the very end of August to the beginning of September. It was September 6th is when it all wrapped up. So 16 days before September 6th.
So is it tough to just wait? Like the anticipation to be like, everybody stop asking me. It's on now. Like watch the damn show.
Yeah.
For me, not so much because we just go to the little events, so we don't even like think about it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's probably harder for the other teams that don't go to all the robot events and don't do all that stuff. You know, because for us, we're so immersed in the world. Like everyone knows we can't say anything, so like no one bothers asking us anymore. But I think for people who's like their friends and their families aren't in the world as much. I think it's harder.
Well, yeah, and then again, we were talking about the amount of experience you guys have. Bunny and David, you both said 2002. Rush, I'm assuming you're somewhere in that group. Like,
No,
I'm got in late. 2016. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you came in 2016, and your idea is what the bot is now. So, I mean, it's not a bad idea.
It's a totally different skill set to have the design ability than it is to have the ability to build them. Building them is a entirely different skill set. That is for sure. It's a lot more physical. It's a lot more like physical toll, and having the ideas is so hard. It's nearly impossible to come up with these original fresh ideas. So Rush doing it's just so impressive. Like design is so hard, and it's just brilliant that he was able to do it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, and so many people have those ideas. They're like, oh, I can come up with something. And then they go, I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
that's why we have Isaac.
Yeah.
So talk about Isaac's role a little bit more, because we brought him up and I've seen him when you guys did other podcasts with Witch Doctor.
Isaac hates being recognized. Isaac does not want anyone to know that he's on any BattleBots team. Isaac is so wonderful. He does all the CAD. So we tell him, hey, we want this. And he goes, that's not going to work. And we go, no, you got to make it work. And then he's like, fine. And he does it. He's the best. He definitely, like, he's in it just for the love of the sport. And that's what we really love. He just really loves making these things on the screen that we can then bring to life. And he loves every minute of it, I think. He just doesn't want any recognition for it.
All right, so beep. We just gonna bleep out Isaac every time we say it.
Yes, every time we say Isaac, just bleep it. He says that it's so funny. Isaac, the funniest thing that Isaac has ever said to me is he's like, stop telling people I designed the robot because they keep messaging me what I did wrong. he's like, stop it.
The internet's so I'm gonna ask you guys this, because 2002, not as easy to go after the people who were building bots, not as easy to complain about it. What is it like now? Like you said, going on Reddit and people are like, you guys suck. Like what? Like
I really love fans. Like for me, like I just kill people with kindness. Like, and that's just who I want to be. Like I don't care if they don't like me. I'm gonna be me anyways. We just had a guy the other day. I don't remember what he said. I have no idea what he said. I don't care. It doesn't matter what he said. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But I was just like, I was like, here, have some stickers, buddy. Like I don't know what you're talking about, but have some stickers. You bring me up, I'll give you stickers. You're fine. And the rest of the team doesn't agree with that.
I'm good with it, but like the rest of the team, like cumulatively over all our robots, we got like 50 plus first place victories. We know what we're doing.
80. Yeah. I'm finally catching up. He has like 80 first place trophies, and like this last year I got like 11, and like
you're almost there.
It's just all of us have top 3 victories. Everyone on the team's like has their own robot, and we do really well in all the other competitions. So
the fans, they don't understand what actually goes into it. They don't understand a lot of the behind the scenes. All they see is wins and losses. That's all they see. And that's fine. Like and that's great. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you like having that mentality is great. But for us, we don't care.
No, I think the experience factor is something that plays into it too, because you have people who are like, BattleBots is where I have to be. I have to be on that stage. I have to be there, and I will settle for nothing less. I'm not doing these little shows, but those little shows are where you're working out the kinks. Those little shows are where, like you said, finding people who eventually, hey, we need to get this person in. This is somebody. You're almost like your own talent scouts, which is kind of weird again in a sport where you might be facing them.
People.
Yeah. So what's that like when you're talking to somebody and you're saying, hey, we think you should should be a part of this. But do they look at you like you're insane?
Brandon did a little bit. He's not the only one that we've done this with. I think it really depends on the person. I think some of them are looking to get on BattleBots. Some of them are like, oh my God, I need to get on BattleBots. Here's what I can do. And we can help those people too. But it really just depends. It's just like everything, like there's so many different ideas and things. What about you, Rush? Does anyone come up and talk to you about this?
A little bit. I've talked to some people, just exploring the possibility of maybe helping them get on the show. And sometimes the people, I feel like there's a lot of imposter syndrome sometimes with some of the people. Like they're not even really sure if they're deserving of it. So I've actually felt a bit of like resistance to that. So yeah.
Yeah,
Almost like they think it's like a trick or something. They're like, I don't know.
Right.
Like I'm not that good.
Yeah.
Right.
So we can't ignore the giant nut in the room.
Yes, we can. I don't see that. What are you talking about?
I've been staring at it this entire time, and I hope it's not like you're gonna see me just being like. So
it's very heavy. It's very heavy. Oh, it weighs 40 pounds. It's just a replica. It's not real. It's not actually the real nut. It's just a replica. But we hang out with Paul from Bite Force a lot, and he has a ton of them. So we compare it. We like to think our cheaper than.
So what made you decide to make one? Because I know there was some controversy about this.
It was originally going to be a troll.
Yeah, we tried to get these in time for filming, so we were going to put it on each robot and just leak photos of each robot with the nut on it. That was our plan, but they got delayed in shipping, so now we just have it hanging out in the background all the time. We bring it to it really is fun for kids and such at the little, we bring it to a lot of the little robot events we go to. Kids love to come over and pick it up and handle it, so it's a lot of fun now. It was originally a troll. We were definitely gonna take a photo with every single robot and have the nut on it and just leak them randomly. No one would know.
I'm sure they would have been pissed.
We don't know. Maybe next year.
You're gonna get there next year, and just a crew of people is gonna come up and go, "Where is it?
We need to search it. We need to search for it." I think like that stuff behind the scenes like that. It's a lot of fun, and it builds a lot of friendships, and it builds a lot of character. I had a photo booth, so I brought this past BattleBots. I set up this Polaroid station, like literally a Polaroid station.
Yeah.
That like they could take a photo, and I was gonna have this sitting there with it, so they could put the nut on their bot and print a little sticker photo of it. But it's stuff like that it really helps boost the morale at the event, because when you're there for all day every day. Free shipping brought a slushy machine and a claw machine, like stuff like that. It just makes the event better. It just makes it more tolerable. And when the poop fountain is going off in the porta potties, like coming in and being able to have a slushie or take a photo with your friends, it just makes it a little easier.
Like the poop fountain? What?
I don't think we're supposed to say that.
Oh well, there was a poop fountain.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, stuff happens. There's
David's like, no.
I didn't even know about the poop fountain.
What? You were there. It was so I'm sorry, but the honey wagons, there's so many people using them. You're there.
Yeah.
16 hours a day.
Right, I remember now.
16 days for 16 days straight. Like people have to use the restroom, and it's hard to keep up with it because there's so many people just always going. And it got backed up, and it happens. It happens. Like it's just like anything. You know what I'm saying? Like
things that have never been said on this show. Poop fountain.
Stunt nut. This is not the stolen stunt nut. This is very heavy. I literally, that's like I can deadlift a robot. I can lift that, but I make it look easier than it is. It's 45 pounds. It's this is not the stolen stunt nut. And if you have the stolen stunt nut, return it. Rude.
Well, and that's what you were saying before, is that you were literally having to tell people, no, it's heavy. It's heavy. The stunt nut is not like.
It's not the stunt nut. So the stunt nut, they literally, so Axis 3, the beautiful, brilliant machine made by Mark Satrakian.
Yeah.
It can only hold a certain, you see it in all the
cloth. Yeah.
It's like, and it turns the nut. It's milled out. You can't tell from the show because they literally the piece right here is where it slides together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all milled out inside. So it only weighs 20 to 25 pounds. I can't remember exactly how much, but somewhere in there. So it's very light. And because the robot can't handle much more than that. That's why this year you don't see it turning as much in the promos because it literally can't. So
yeah, and I noticed that too because I watched 3 episodes. And again, this is when BattleBots came back on, it was a rush of nostalgia. Because it was just like, I can't believe they're bringing this back. And of course, having Kenny Florian, a former MMA fighter, do the commentary. And I'm like, so you're all laughing already. So now I know their stories. But realistically, bringing that all back was that rush of nostalgia. It really was like, I can't believe they're doing this. And I'm sorry, Farouk's intro are one of my favorite things about the show.
I love it. I think it's so fun.
Because they gave it a sense of like theater. Like we have to make this, this, and then there was times where somebody yelled "suck it." I don't know who. Oh yeah, that was you.
Kurt, okay, we had talked about it prior. That was probably the thing I got the most shit for, and it was so weird for me because Kurt and I, we literally as teams sat we were in the back oh hey, how much shit talking are you for? How much do you like this? How much? What's the line? And he was like, full send, just do it, just go for it. And we were like, yeah, same for you. We're just gonna go back and forth and we're gonna be raw, because it makes better TV. And then they cut all his stuff. And they left my one line in. And so many people, I got this one message on Twitter, this lady, she was like, it's so classless. And I was like, yep, playing with my friends, totally classless. You're totally right. Absolutely. Yeah, why not? I don't care. It was so funny though. But yeah, I've definitely that's probably what I've gotten the most hate for is saying suck it. Okay.
Again, TV editing can change so much.
Yeah, it's so funny.
That's why people hate the media. That's why fighters hate a lot of journalists because they're like, that's not what I said. I said this, and you used this middle 13 seconds that is taken out of context.
Yes, absolutely.
So then what was the best thing he said back at you since they cut everything else?
It
was 2 years ago. We don't remember anymore. But it was funny because when we showed up to the Orlando Maker Faire, he was there. Orlando Maker Faire is another fight, and he's like, I just finished putting my robot back together. It was so funny. That was literally in November this past year in November. So
oh my god.
No, he wasn't being serious. It was just a joke, And I literally looked at him and I was like, "What?" Because again, it was 2 years ago.
I forgot.
He's like, "Oh, that's how it is," So I was like, "I didn't remember. I'm sorry."
Well, I'll have to catch the next Orlando one because I'm in Tampa, so that's.
Oh yeah. It's usually every November. You should absolutely go. Someone danced with Will Bales. They want to dance with Will Bales. Oh, a robot almost went out of the arena. That was fun. They stopped it before it did. Thank God.
How did it almost go out of the arena?
Because Claw Viper and Big Dill both have these forks that can get under the floor in Orlando Maker Faire. So they got under the floor and pushed the whole floor, and the side of the arena went with it. It's amazing. You should absolutely go. There's nothing like seeing robots in person.
No. And that's the other thing is that seeing them on TV, you're like, they don't look that big. And then you see this iteration of BattleBots really focus on how big some of these bots are, making people push them out on the carts and literally showing them next to it to go this isn't something this big. This isn't like Rush was talking about the 1 pound, 3 pound. These aren't these tiny little robots. These things are massive. So
they weigh more than me. They weigh more than anyone on our team.
Again, Malice. It's a new weight distribution system. How much does this thing weigh? 4 Malices. That's what it does.
We do that for jackpots. We say, how much does it cost? Well, it costs about one jackpot.
I don't even want to ask.
Two jackpots.
Cost one jackpot. So for you guys, just like a fighter gets asked, what was your hardest fight? What was the hardest build you guys had? We're not going to talk about Jackpot anymore. We used that one. But what was the hardest build where you guys were just running into issue after issue and finally got yourselves out there?
The butt thing, Sub-Zero. Doing the thing. We had so a lot of people thought that we just didn't change anything after we did the thing the first time. So in last year, we stood on our butt twice. Mm-hmm. But if you look, like after the first one, we were standing like this, and in Sub-Zero, we were sitting like this. So we had actually changed a lot. We had put this long bolt on it, and he turned off the weapon after the fight, and it still didn't help. We still just ended up on our butt. So, I think that was the hardest thing to get over was figuring out how, because the horizontal drums, they just have so much gyroscopic force in this direction, like up and down. So when you see robots like Rex or Minotaur, you can see they have the gyroscopic force in the left and right, and our drum has it in the up and down is the problem. So when we got up, it was going up. It wasn't coming back down. Yeah. So Sub-Zero, I think, was probably our hardest after that, just because, I mean, the actual fight itself, like, we took out Sub-Zero pretty efficiently, but then their drone took us out by making us we beat ourselves. So I think ourselves is the biggest fight we have.
Rush, would you agree with that? I saw you thinking, like, you were really like.
That was a hard day. I'll say that. So yeah, I'll say like that. Yeah, after that fight that's probably the roughest one we've done. But yeah, I don't have too many fond memories of that.
Rush disappeared. Rush didn't want to. Rush was like, no, I don't want to. But he was so good. He came back and he was like, I was like, it's okay, Rush.
Well, that's part of it though. But it's so funny because I'm like, I could tell as soon as you brought it up, he was like, yeah.
That was a rough fight. Yeah, it was a rough fight. I think just because we had beat them. I think like we had finished. They were out. And then we were out all of a sudden because things change so quickly. Just like in MMA, like one hit and it can change the whole outcome of a fight. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, yeah, and you go back to Pride, the Pride Fighting Championship. They fought inside a ring. They didn't fight inside of a cage. So. I wanted to talk about the upper level, the upper deck, whatever they want to call it this year. Like what that looks like it annoyed everyone, and I'm still trying to figure out why it was done and how it benefits really in that. So
it does get,
we rolled your eyes, so you're like, this is stupid.
Our biggest issue with it was the lateness that it was introduced. So we had designed a whole thing and we couldn't use it because all of a sudden 30 days before the event, they changed this. It's like we spend all year building these things, and then they come out with this drastic, huge change that affects our robots specifically. Us horizontals, we really do need the full room. Yep. Like we need a lot of room because we have to go up and come back down. That's like how horizontals win. You know what I'm saying? So changing this 30 days before the competition, when the robots are all finished, everything's done. Everything's locked in, and then they just bring out this rule change 30 days before the event. You're like, surprise. All right, but however, it's good on them to try to keep the sport fresh. Like absolutely, like it sometimes gets boring, it sometimes gets, repetitive, you know what I'm saying? And I applaud them for trying something new, but it was just so poorly executed is the problem. But yeah. I think it's okay. I think it was fine.
Well, the year before, there was no, you could toss anyone out anywhere from the arena. All the arena had, there was like a gap.
Like about this big. It was just about
They created a new arena with no gap.
To be safe, to make it safer.
So you couldn't really toss anyone out, so they wanted a place to toss people. So like the rule was that when you got onto the platform, they gave you 10 seconds to get off. If you couldn't get off in 10 seconds, you're counted out. So if you're a flipper, you want to flip them into that area because you can't flip them out of the arena because most of the arenas blocked off now.
So they kind of
They
took
wanna
something away from it. Yeah.
So they want to give flippers and lifters a chance.
But it was at the cost of all horizontal robots. Every last one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it when they first introduced it, and I was like, why? Why did we do this? And not knowing that, not really knowing, because they don't talk about that they've gotten rid of that gap. But I definitely have noticed not seeing people get, chucked out and stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the problem is it gave verticals another advantage, because verticals, it really does help them, because like it keeps people in these tiny little boxes, so, and verticals, they don't need a lot of room, like they can go back and forth pretty easily. So not only did it disadvantage the horizontals, it actually improved like the chances for the verticals, so it's just such a terrible, I don't know, it was just such a bad thing for everyone.
Do you think they'll keep it for next year?
We don't know.
We don't know. It's
well,
those are
yeah.
The man makes those decisions.
I was gonna say, obviously, if you
Yeah,
have
I
your
like to think.
choice, bring it back.
Yeah, I like to think that they'll refine it a little better.
Right.
Maybe not make it just so damn wide.
Yes.
But
yes, that would help.
I feel like there might be some small changes, maybe. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, something like you said, with the verticals, they've already got some advantages. The flippers obviously have the advantages there. With the movement, with you guys, you really have to be able to, run all the way left to go right, turn around, swing around, and really get the attack.
And we can't go into those two little areas next to it, whereas verticals have no trouble going into those two little areas next to it. But that's okay, it again, they're just trying something new. It's not their fault, just kind of sucks for, it's like anything, you just gotta adapt and overcome, and it'll be fine. We'll fix it this year.
Experiment, and
yeah,
you don't know what's gonna happen
until
it
know.
happens.
You don't know until it happens.
So, David, I'll direct this one more to you, and then Bunny. What is something you know now that you wish you knew when you first started? Like something that you learned that you were like, man, I wish 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I knew this.
You go to Bunny first. I don't know. That's a hard question.
For me, the thing I wish I knew back then was that it really is okay to fail. It really is okay to lose. Now I know that. Now I understand that. But when I
agree. I took winning way too seriously back then.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like,
as long as we have fun, that's the most important part. It was because you build yourself up so much, you're you put so much worry and weight into it, and it's really not worth it. It's really there is a certain amount of joy from winning, but I think a lot more joy comes from there's some joy in losing too now. Yeah,
before
exactly.
I used to take it really rough, and now I'm just sometimes it's just fun and I laugh it off. But sometimes I get very excited for the other guy beating me because maybe he
yes. I loved when Jackpot beat us. Oh my god,
It's in the little robot. Sometimes I might beat someone 3-4 times in a row, and then one time he beats me, and he's extremely excited because he's never beaten me. And I'm happy for that guy.
He likes it when I beat him. I get so excited. I beat him. I'm undefeated against my David, so it's fun for me. And he gets so happy for me when I beat him. And he tried. One time I think he threw the fight. One time, but I think the others actually beat him. It's fun. What about you, Rush?
I wish I would have known just how much it would cost. Yeah, you agree?
Oh, it's so much.
Yeah.
It's so much.
It's not an expense that. Yeah, it's not. It's just an expense. Yeah.
Yeah, you get your kids into this. They won't get into drugs. They won't get into drinking. They won't be able to afford it. Their entire paycheck will go to their robot, and then that'll get destroyed that weekend, and they'll have to do it again.
That looked like that was a touchy subject. It was just expensive, like this.
Malice is one of the most expensive robots, just because we really had to get so last year we had to spend so much because it was happening during COVID, And so we had to rush everything, and no one wanted to come into work. So we had to pay extra to do that. And it just cost a lot because the way the world was right then, you know what I'm saying? Like, so Malice was one of the most expensive robots, and people, they like to give us crap, but it's actually pretty average, to be honest. Like even though we are one of the more expensive ones, it's what we spend is very average. Like because it's about $30,000 for one Malice, and but we build 3, so it's about $90,000. But most people show up with 2 robots, and so Malice is the most expensive because we show up with more. It's not because the actual robot's more expensive. It's because we show up with extras and spares and things that make it easier on us at the event.
Yeah. Well, and then seeing that you guys have the sponsors, so talk a little bit about how important that is to really keeping this dream alive and keeping this team alive. Look at both.
We didn't have any sponsors last year. We did get sponsors. We did get sponsors this year, but last year we didn't have any. And even
we had a few.
We had Southwest Waterjet.
Yeah.
That was it. But they don't like to be told. We have a sponsor who does it just because they love doing it. and they don't want us to tag them in anything. They don't want anything like that. They just want to do it. And they're the best. They're called Southwest Waterjet. And if you're in Arizona, you should use them. Just lightly on the side mention Malice sent you, but pay full price.
Still gonna pay full price, but they're good people.
This year we got Send Cut Send, which is where I work, and it's like the best place to get laser cut material. And we got Fremont Bank, which is where Rush works, and he loves working there, and they're a great banking company. And we got Printed Solid. And SolidWorks, the CAD place, which you should absolutely use because SolidWorks is the best.
How great is it that it's a company you work for, like integrating that into your life? Because I guess the search wouldn't be hard, but at the same time, you really have to pitch this and be like, listen, we are legit. Like this is a good investment.
Yeah. Mine, it's so funny because I work customer facing. So a lot of it is I get like messages from customers, asking for something totally random. And I'm like, and I sign my name Bunny, and they're like, oh my God, you're Bunny from Malice. I just had that one the other day and I had to send him stickers. He was messaging my work for, a part, and he was like, oh, you're Bunny from Malice. You're my favorite team. And I was like, oh, thanks. Can I send you some stickers? I don't know. Rush doesn't work with the customers as much. So I don't think he gets that as much.
No, I don't. I'm out in the back room just coding all day, so I don't really see anybody.
Yeah.
What about you, David? Like, where do you fit in? Like, they've got theirs. Like, where's your sponsor?
He pays for the rest of the robot. He is the sponsor.
Yeah.
He is.
That's why in one of the fights later on, you'll see him push the button with his wallet. It's my favorite. He didn't want to do it. I wanted him to do it, but he pushes the button with his wallet. I don't know. They probably won't show it. Oh, it was last year. I'm sorry. It was last year. And he pushed it. And I was like, oh yeah, it was against Huge. That's right. Against Huge. I was like, you have to push the button with your wallet. You have to push the button with your wallet. And Huge, the guys from Huge, he didn't want to do it. So the guys from Huge were like, yeah, you got to do it because they know, you know what I'm saying? So they convinced him to push the button with his wallet. It was so funny.
We'll have to make sure they didn't cut that part out, but I'll definitely have to go see that because that's a painful one and funny at the same time. Then
it's funny because it's true. That's why it hurts.
As you guys continue to help other teams and expand out, like, is there more robots that you guys want to make, or have you? Obviously, look at that. All right, so I want to know. Yeah, on that. So the robots you guys fight against each other. What are you using?
Well, David Rush and I are about to have a Malice off. He's building, an original 1 pound Odium / Animus, and I'm building the new Malice small micro mini bot, and we're gonna fight it off to see who's the better Malice driver. And we're very excited about that. That'll be in March. Although Andrew hasn't gotten me the CAD. We gotta do this. We gotta get on Andrew.
I think because he's going to the competition.
Yeah, he's going to Moto. So this is the best part. We have all the robots. Andrew's from Deep Six. So we all the collaboration. He's doing the CAD for both Rush and I. So so we're not it's totally blind. It's who's the better driver of the brand new robot. No one not seen before. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna find out. It's gonna be amazing. And then David uses Unknown Avenger, who is very well known in the small robot world.
I'm catting all my own stuff.
Oh, you are? I thought Andrew was helping you.
He's like, no.
Andrew was helping him earlier because that's how I got Andrew. Andrew was gonna help him, so I messaged Andrew and I was like, Andrew, come to the better side.
He literally was like, the whole time you're saying it, he's going, no.
Rush. He was originally going to go with Andrew. It's going to be great. Anyways, so David drives Unknown Avenger, and that's a very well-known robot. Mm-hmm. And I drive Mouser normally, but Mouser's now retired. So I used to own the lightweight champion Mouser Mecha Catbot from the original Comedy Central days because I was friends with Fawn Davis. But Fawn Davis, this last year, he asked for it back because he wants to rebuild it. So I brought it back to him. So hopefully we get a new Mouser Mecha Catbot soon. And then Rush, of course, drives Animus and Odium. And he also drives a robot called Icky Mouse, which you can tell him about Icky Mouse.
Yeah, Icky Mouse, it's a 3-pound vertical drum. Also got the companion Meanie Mouse, the 1-pound version of it. And actually funny story. Actually, David Lau and I, so just between the two of us, we hold all the titles in Canada for all the insect weight bots. So
insect weight bots, okay.
We fight around the world.
Yeah,
we go
1 pound,
to
3 pounds,
China,
and the
we go
150
to
grams.
Canada. We go everywhere. Anywhere there's a robot competition, we want to go.
And I think that's what sets you guys apart from everybody else. We were talking. It doesn't just come down to wins or losses. It's having to learn from those and equating it to fights, whether you're talking about MMA or football or baseball. Nobody learns anything from winning. Realistically, you don't learn something from winning. It's in those losses you go, okay, we could have changed this. We could have done this differently. We could have done this. And that's how you expand and that's how you grow. And that really shows to the character of who you are if you're a fighter or you're in the sports team. But as you guys, as the builders, the drivers, the people who are putting the money into this, you have a very personal vested interest in this. And I could tell a loss would be very emotionally and financially hurtful. So being able to overcome that, I think, David, is something that I hope you can teach the future generations to understand, how important that is. And I'm only picking you out because of the wallet. That's it.
Yes. Oh, it's so great. And then our new team, or not our new teammate, I'm sorry. We are building a new robot under the MALICE umbrella. Our teammate, David Small, has a wonderful pneumatic flipper that he competes with in the small events. And so David is funding some of it, not all of it. David Small is funding most of it. And then David Lau is helping him get it started. And he's doing all the CAD. It's gonna be a totally separate team, but it's gonna be Team MALICE, because we're gonna be like the Waiachis and have 2 or 3 robots in the same pit, just sharing the tools and the major costs, the big costs.
Yeah.
But he's going off and doing his own thing, and we'll miss him and we love him, and we'll have to find another David to replace him.
How many Davids are we up to now? Is it
4? We have David Randolph, David Rush, David Small, and David Lau. And we gotta find another David. They keep replicating.
How confusing is that for you? So I know, with my name being Matt, I ended up going by my last name because of the fact that I worked at Circuit City. That's dating me a little bit, but everybody gets that.
I worked at Circuit City too. I was a fire dog. Yay! I was there till the end, March 2009. Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
So was I.
Yay! Oh, look at us.
0813, Port Richey, Florida.
I was in Tucson, Arizona.
I helped close the doors on the last time. And the funniest part was that I had applied at the Best Buy across the street
Oh my gosh.
like 3 times and never even got a phone call.
Oh my God. I ended up
And-
working at a computer company called Pelstar. They did stuff for Lisa Frank. And then I left to do robots. So I finished I finished engineering school and went off and did robots. So anyways, yes. So tell them how bad it is to be David among the Davids.
Oh yeah.
We just use our last names.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. You just gotta. Luckily, everyone's last name is very short. It's Rush, Small, and Lau.
I mean that.
So
Yeah,
it
that
makes it
works.
a lot easier. There's no last name is very complicated. So.
Yeah.
And then the one David that we brought on, David Randolph, he's now Dave. He got demoted to Dave, so he's just Dave.
We demoted him. We made your name 1 letter shorter, but that was
enough.
painful. Yeah.
It was enough.
Well, and realistically, my last name's where the name of the show came out. It was actually, I ended up working at Best Buy afterwards. They finally called, and I worked there for the next 5.5 years. And I got angry at something, and I was like, just furious. And my boss looked at me and goes, "Stop quigging out on me, okay?"
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
It just kind of stuck here because that had to be 10 years ago plus. When that came up,
I got my Twitter handle, play bot bunny, yeah, because it was just so perfect. I was just like, yes.
Yeah, like I'll take this. Well, guys, I think we're about to wrap it up. I can't even begin to thank you, every single one of you, for coming on the show. I know, Lau, they threw you into this last second. You were like,
It was fun. It's always fun.
I mean, I was told Malice was going to be one of the weapons, but somebody said it was too heavy, so I don't know what's going on.
It's too heavy.
No, look at these guns. He's lying to you. It's not too heavy. He just doesn't want to carry it up here.
Rush is like, what did I miss?
Oh, no, thanks for having us. That was super fun, super amazing. Did you have fun, Rush? This is my whole job.
I had a lot of fun, guys.
Rush is okay.
Well, see, that's the thing. I talk a lot. Bunny talks a lot. We need 2 people to kind of balance this out. And Rush is like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait. Yeah. But listen, you guys are doing an amazing job. I love what you're doing because you going to these smaller shows is showing kids, this can be done. This is a different pathway to go, and I think you made the joke about it, but realistically, you get into robotics, you're not going to get into drugs. You're not going to get anything else because you won't be able to afford it.
And you won't want to. You'll have so much fun doing what you're doing. You don't need to.
Again, things I never thought I'd say. So just a few things for us here. So when it comes to sponsors, everybody's seen my lovely cup that's, just thrown in here, but none of you guys have beards, so I can't help you out there.
I can work on that, I think. Yeah, I got that.
I've got La Barba Cubana. He's a very good friend of mine. He's actually an indie wrestler as well. So he makes amazing beard care. This one actually smells like coffee, peanut butter, and jelly. I know that sounds weird, but it keeps everything from,
Sounds good. Sounds
makes
great.
it nice and shiny. Fat Boy Jiu-Jitsu. I'm not a smaller guy, so finding stuff that works out for us and making some incredible, parody shirts is pretty awesome. Bertzo's Baked Goods, which is actually in Orlando. So the next time you're in Orlando, we'll need to figure something out when it comes to that. And then kind of, I wouldn't say in your realm, but in your realm, I do have a friend. It's Tim Makes Knives on Instagram. He actually is a huge Forged in Fire fan, which I am as well. Anything with building stuff. Like I'm the person.
One of the robot builders was on Forged in Fire. The one from Bombshell.
Oh my goodness. See? That's what has to happen. So
small world.
It's a full circle. But for me, I needed to find that other person because I've got the idea. It's just putting it into practicality where I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like I don't know what comes next from this. So thank you guys again.
Thank you.
I need stickers.
I'll send you stickers. I'll send you just DM me your address. We'll give you foam thrower, foam frisbee.
Oh shit. I'm just gonna say that. Foam frisbee. It's just gonna be hanging on the wall. You're gonna be like, what is that? Don't touch it. Don't touch it. But, guys, I know you already know what happens, but the best of luck to you for the rest of the season. Thanks for being a part of this. For me, it's a monumental episode. It's because of COVID that I do this show. I hate being on camera and I hate the sound of my voice. So that's why this makes it so much more fun. And so, Bunny, David, Rush, thank you all again. Team Malice, thanks to Combat Press for letting me have this, outlet. And you guys just have a good one.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You, Matt.